What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a controversial video because is it time for a change? Obviously, the way we play maybe and set up, but in particular, this time the goalkeeper. I know at the club it's been a debate for actually many years now. Oh, Perin this, Perin that, or whoever the backup was, he should be starting, he should be this, and now everybody, like big part of the fan base is calling out Di Gregorio to be a bench, not just like some just for a game, like we normally maybe do in a season to, boost his confidence, whatever, and keep Perin happy, or just because they think Perin, or somebody thinks Perin is better. So I'm going to talk about it, and it's probably going to be controversial, but I will give it a go. So before we do that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive straight into what is becoming actually a big topic. Okay, so 2 games. No, actually, that's not correct. 4 games into the season, but actually 2 games into the problem, and people want Di Gregorio gone. That's how I need to describe it. I like we are one of the fewest clubs who rotated a goalkeeper even in the league. Like usually clubs do not do that in the league, and we did that in the past. Um, when people say, "Oh, you need to keep the second goalkeeper happy," no, you do not. He's a second goalkeeper for a reason, and he made that decision for a good reason. Those were Perin's words. I'd rather sit on the bench at Juve than play and win, whatever. Like I don't feel sorry if the second goalkeeper doesn't play because that's your role. Whoever was deputing Buffon the entire career was screwed. Obviously it's Buffon, but in general, if there's a clear number one, I don't feel sorry for the second goalkeeper. So that, argument needs to go out of the window because you're the second goalkeeper. You knew that the moment you signed, you stayed at the club, whatever. So I don't really care about that. That's one. Two, personally, I don't like Piri. Yeah, but that is irrelevant because if you're the better player, you play. That's just what it is. However, I think we are all way too soon to dismiss what Di Gregorio actually has done ever since he joined the club. Remember last season, and I'm trying hard to forget about last season. Like, trust me, I don't want to remember last season, but I remember the amount of times and in key moments where Di Gregorio kept us in games we had no business being in, like absolutely no business. And if you want the very the past, the near past, the club woke up. Remember what the hell he was doing, like for example against Real Madrid, like down the stretch, the saves he made. Genoa this season, very late, had absolutely nothing to do all game. Gatti loses the ball and he saves us again. The amount of times Di Gregorio saved us. And by the way, he's not the perfect goalkeeper because I don't think he's good in the air collecting crosses. I think he improved on that last part of last season. Now, the last 2 games, he's not been good at. Against Dortmund, it was actually a disaster. He was not sure. He was a bit shaky, coming out one punch, fist punch, punching it away, a bit late with coming out, and that is, obviously a talking point. And he was bad against Dortmund. That third goal near post, it just cannot happen, Now, that being said, the other goals, I don't think the issue for me is he didn't save them. I think the issue more is like he was not even near. He was not even diving towards it. And sometimes you had a feeling, you could have at least made an attempt, to do that. That being said, a lot of the times the opponents had acres of space to shoot and time, so like for them it was more easy to coordinate as well. But he hasn't played well in the last 2 games. That is a fact. I don't think anyone will debate that. Now, to say play Perin from now until the end of the season is crazy to me. One, because Perin for me is not the better goalkeeper. Because if you're the better goalkeeper, you're not sitting on the Juve bench. I'm sorry, for so many seasons, you're just not doing it. You're not doing it. It's impossible. Like if you're like one of those top goalies, at one point you win. Like you absolutely stand out, which is like why a top club wants you as the number one. No top club wanted Perin as number one. And it's not to put him down, but that's just what it is. And yes, clubs make mistakes with, picking players at what set, etc. But to bench Di Gregorio right now, at this moment in time, and say we're going to go with Perin, forget about Di Gregorio. You need to sell him because he's done. Mentally, he's checked out for a goalkeeper. The only thing you can do right now, if it was agreed that he will get a rest throughout the season, even in the league, and that was agreed on at the start of the season, and you do that right now, fine. That's a perfect timing. But if the agreement at the start of the season was Perin is only going to play Coppa Italia games, then you cannot really do that right now, in my opinion, because a goalkeeper needs trust. And the only way you're going to get back that trust is to get out there and play and redeem yourself. Because it's a solo, position. For example, he can make one mistake in minute one. You go down 1-0, excuse me. You lose that game, but throughout the game, he makes insane save after insane save. At the end, you messed up at minute one, and people are gonna remember that, and that's fair. That's the position you play. Same as a striker, you can miss a sitter, and you lose the game. People will remember that sitter, even if that was your only chance in 90 minutes. People will not care about that. So that is the position you play. I get it, but to write him off right now and to completely bury him, I think would be a massive mistake. He needs to get out there and redeem himself. He needs to stay calm because he is a good goalkeeper. Is he a world-class goalkeeper? No, and people go overboard, but who has? Like, you can win the league without a world-class goal. Napoli do not have a world-class goalkeeper, not even close, and they won the league. You don't need a world-class goalkeeper to win the league. You just need a good goalkeeper, and he is that. And he had two bad games. I agree, especially that Dortmund one. I thought that was bad on multiple occasions and moments. Coming out, hitting the post. What was it? Was it Julian Brandt? It wasn't Brandt, right? However, excuse me. You needed to do better there. Like, that cannot happen. So he had an absolute stinker. But even goalkeepers can have bad games. That, like, players, whatever position you play, can have bad games. I've seen the best of the best have a bad game. Obviously they have more credit in the bank. But the discussion for me is a bit crazy after this start of the season. Even though the first two games he was okay and he did what he had to do. So I don't think it's fair. Now, if it's agreed that he would get a rest here and there in the league and we bench him and Perin plays, that's a decision that has been made at the start of the season. I'm perfectly fine with that. And that's I don't think that would be an issue. But if that was never agreed on, it was only Coppa Italia games, and now you start benching him, you're losing him. You're losing him, and it's done. Because for a goalkeeper, that's it. You need to trust, and right now, that's the only thing we can do. Give him trust. The club needs to give him trust, and I have absolutely no doubt that he will redeem himself. Because I've seen it last season, not over 2 games, over 40 plus games where he was very good, and especially after January, he was unbelievable at times. Remember the last couple of games, the last stretch of games, like Venezia, like if not for him, we wouldn't be playing Champions League. I will say you that we had so many close games that we should have not won or took a point out of it, and for some reason he kept us. He kept us clean. Even yesterday, again, who was it? Where he saved that shot from close range. I don't know. Remember that Haaland ridiculous save last season? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's fair towards him. It's fair to acknowledge he had a poor game and you criticize him. That's fair. That goes for any player. I don't care what your name is. Isildes goes out there against Verona. I don't think he's going to play. But if he has an absolute horrible game, we will come out and say, you had a horrible game. We're not going to call him out. You're rubbish, whatsoever. But, you had a bad game. It happens. That's football. It can happen. But I need way more than this to say, yeah, you need to sit out. I have too much of a sample size, too big of a sample size of very good performances, in my opinion, to call him out right now and say, yeah, bring in Perin and ditch this guy. That's just my opinion on the Di Gregorio situation. Anyways, I know a lot of people would completely disagree, and that's fair. So let me know in the comments why you would disagree with that. Maybe you just like Perin from years ago, and that's a fair point. You think he's a bit better goalkeeper. Let me know in the comments, and we will debate that in there. And yeah, I'll see you. Ciao.